Nicola Sturgeon indicates that she could still resign as First Minister, the SNP is to force Alex Salmond to give evidence, and the government wants more lockdown after the vaccine. Hello everyone and welcome to today's program. Another day and another SNP scandal with Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon. We have a lot to talk about, but before we start the show, just a quick thing. As you have seen in the previous video, I mentioned the latest data that we have from our previous video. 55.7% of you guys who watch this channel are not subscribed. What are you guys doing? Click on the subscribe button, and if you think you have subscribed, sometimes YouTube unsubscribe you. So double check right now to make sure you are subscribed and click on the bell next to it so you get notified. Now, let's get on to the show and talk about Nicola Sturgeon, because the Times have been reporting that firstly she wants to use extra legal powers, extra powers using the Scottish Parliament, to force Alex Salmond to return to the committee to give evidence. As you know, on Tuesday Alex Salmond was supposed to be giving evidence, and he said that I would only do it if the Scottish Parliament publish the evidence against Nicola Sturgeon that would prove that she lied and misled the Scottish Parliament. That means she has to resign. When she was asked that whether her husband actually committed perjury, she said no, and she refused. This is why we're going to translate what you see in the press and media. The way it's written, it says the First Minister refused 3 times to say whether she will quit if it's found that she has lied to Parliament. She hasn't actually refused to say whether she will obviously stay, and she hasn't said, "Oh, definitely not resign." She said, I haven't decided whether I'm going to resign or not." This is how you actually translate what the politicians say to the press. The fact that she hasn't actually refused that, and say that, "Oh no, I will not resign." She said, "I'll just refuse to say whether I will quit or not." And this is changing the whole story, and this is why Alex Salmond and his side are now more motivated to ensure that the evidence against her is published. Now, she has, as I said, called for more legal powers to be invoked that would force Alex Salmond to give evidence to the Scottish Parliament and the committee. Now, we have this situation where Nicola Sturgeon's husband, who's also at the top of the SNP, they say that he's lied because back in 2018, when Alex Salmond went to Sturgeon's house, the husband was there. And he said, initially he said, "I wasn't there." The meeting that actually happened in the house, he said, "I wasn't even there." Then he changed his mind saying, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing Alex there. I just came and said hello and I just disappeared." Alex Salmond says something else. He says, "No, the meeting was there. Nicola Sturgeon was there, and her husband was there, and this happened." And also he's had meetings with Chief of Staff of Sturgeon's office. So this is all changing the whole thing, and this is escalating because Alex Salmond has now said that he would come back, but we have to actually publish the evidence. And we have some comments also from others, commentators, including Andrew Neil, which I'm going to show you in a second. The problem is that the hostility is not really looking well right now. As you remember, these two, Alex Salmond and Nicola Sturgeon, used to be best friends. He used to be her mentor. And she's actually partly here in her position because of Alex Salmond, but because of everything that's been happening, allegations against him, which he still denies. And now he says that Nicola Sturgeon is the one who's been lying. This whole friendship is now completely over and is divided. And the whole party, the SNP leadership right now, don't really know what to do, because what they want to focus on is the second Scottish referendum after the ones that we had in 2014. But that's not really looking good either. All the hopes and aspirations that they had to create an isolated Scotland to then rejoin the European Union is also going down a bit. Now, she has called for the committee to use the powers against him. Now, her spokesperson has later confirmed that she actually meant that members of the Scottish Parliament should invoke these legal powers, which have never been used before in the history of Holyrood. Actually, the spokesperson said that if the committee is as serious about getting to the facts and the truth as they claim to be, why on earth wouldn't they use the powers against this to actually force the witness to come and give evidence? So this is a sort of power that hasn't been used before because they didn't need to. And the Scottish Parliament, again, is going to be divided on this because the other parties, the Tories and Labour, want the committee to publish this evidence against Nicola Sturgeon. SNP members, some of them are trying to block it to save Sturgeon's leadership. Now, Douglas Ross from the Conservatives, Scottish Conservatives, has come out to actually say that this isn't about getting to the bottom of a botched parliamentary process. It's all about the SNP trying to save Nicola Sturgeon's skin. This sorry state of affairs shows contempt for Parliament, and it's utterly shameful. Of course, the other opposition parties are going to be taking advantage of this, and it's partly party politics and partly because they know that the SNP are covering up this thing to save Nicola Sturgeon's leadership. The issue that we have, as I said, is Alex Salmond has recently said that if I don't appear in front of the committee, it's because you haven't published the evidence against Sturgeon, I am going to host a press conference on TV to say my piece and have anything that obviously he has against her to provide to the public. He hasn't done it yet. I think he's just still using it as one of the cards, and I think at this point he is going to return. There just has to be some sort of confirmation that the SNP MPs stop this cover-up. This cover-up is getting so bad that even Andrew Neil tweeted saying that among the Scottish Parliament's many crucial roles, there is none more important than its ability to scrutinise government and hold it to account. The same is true of a free press. Both are at their best when they hold power to account on behalf of the public. This is true. But then he actually continues saying that, but neither can do this essential duty when crucial documents are withheld during important inquiries. Yes, you can't do any of that. You can't hold power to account if you've got parts of the establishment blocking it. He continues by saying that the Holyrood inquiry into the Scottish Government's handling of Alex Salmond's affair decided last week that it would not publish the crucial submissions, including Mr. Alex Salmond's parts of his evidence. This is why, again, they're all being exposed. I mean, people like Andrew Neil, he's a veteran when it comes to media. He's very good at this, and he's one of his main area of expertise is now Scottish politics. But where is the BBC? Where is Sky News? Where are you guys? We still haven't seen anything in the headlines, the main headlines, or the front page of their websites. Then they don't seem too concerned about this. They're more concerned about what's happening with anyone from SAGE, the independent scientific body that advises the government. Whatever they say, without scrutinizing it, they just publish it. The Times reports that the members of SAGE are saying that we should stay in lockdown until autumn. And there are also parts of them that are saying that we should just have a lockdown every winter. And this whole thing started because of what Van Tam said in December, when he actually indicated that even with the vaccine, it actually doesn't get you off the social distancing rules and lockdown. They've already said that they still want to have these measures in place, even though the Prime Minister and Matt Hancock and some other politicians came out to say that when we have the solution, which is for them is the vaccine, they're going to have the exit strategy, and then we're all going to be fine. Eventually we phase out the measures and then we're just going to go back to normal. Apparently that's not the case, because some members of SAGE actually want to keep the lockdown long term. Some of them have said until the end of 2021. Some of them are saying every winter. The issue is that these people are not elected, and the government, politicians, ministers, are not getting any other competitive advice. They're not allowed. There's a monopoly right now of scientific advice. I'm not even saying whether this advice is right or wrong. I'm just saying, firstly, there's no competition. They're basically being banned from getting advice from external sources. Secondly, no one's scrutinizing people in SAGE. Yeah, people are scrutinizing Matt Hancock, he's the minister. People are scrutinizing Boris Johnson, his prime minister. But they're not actually even representing SAGE at this point. And this is one of the problems that we have in this whole situation. Now, the Times understand that the government's route out of lockdown is based on the assumption that people will have to wear face masks and remain a meter apart for months. Now, we don't even know how long. This is also about lack of clarity. As long as we know what the plan is, it will be fine. Some people will accept it, some people will oppose it. They have said that the 22nd of February is when the Prime Minister is going to give us a roadmap. I really hope that's going to be a clear roadmap, rather than saying, oh yeah, so we are going to open pubs at this point, or restaurants and everything else, and schools, but we may have to do certain things until a certain point. We want to know exactly the date at this point, because you said that when you have the vaccine, we now know when you're going to have, obviously hit your targets with how many people you're going to actually give the jab to, and then we're going to come out. Clearly, there's no clarity right now in government or SAGE, and the media are just reporting anything that SAGE says without scrutinizing without even questioning them. And this is the problem that we have with the mainstream media. And finally, in tonight's News in Your World, we have an amazing story from two of our subscribers, well actually three. Phil and Katie from North Oxfordshire, a newlywed couple, got in touch with us to let us know that they're expecting their first baby. It's all exciting. Massive congratulations to both Phil and Katie. I hope that all three of you remain fit and healthy, especially in the next 7 to 8 months. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And if you guys want to also have a chance to be featured in News in Your World, then feel free to share your happy or positive stories that you have. Send it to lacey@mytousi.co.uk with any photos or videos that's related to the story, and you'll get a chance to be featured. Thank you so much for watching again. I'm Maya Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.